immeuble de 50 étages. Le mec, au fur et à mesure de sa chute, il se répète sans cesse pour se rassurer. Jusqu'ici, tout va bien. Jusqu'ici, tout va bien. Jusqu'ici, tout va bien. Mais l'important, c'est pas la chute. C'est l'atterrissage.
Hello, my name is Colin Haas, and today we will be analyzing one of my favorite movies of all time, Haine, and how it appeals to the emotions of its audience, and builds up to one of the most emotionally potent final scenes in all of film history.
Sans tes copains, tu fais que ta mère. Qu'est-ce que tu fais là? Tu flanques moi, hein? Qu'est-ce que tu fais là? Regarde-le. Regarde.
Before we analyze this final scene, we must have a brief summary of the movie and the characters within it. This movie was made in 1995 by Matthew Kassovitz, during a time of high tension between the people and system of France. During this time, there was an especially high divide between the many minority groups within the country and the police system, when it especially came to a head in 1993, when a 17-year-old named Macomb McBowell was shot and killed in a police station by a cop. This moment was a turning point in the relationships between people of color and the system that they had grown up in. The movie basically takes these real-life events and creates a fictional story around them. Yet aspects of the real world are heavily prominent within it and creates an incredibly politically and socially charged commentary on the harsh environments lower-class minority groups grow up in. The movie begins by introducing the three main characters, Vince, Hubert, and Said. It is revealed that their friend Abdel has been gravely injured due to police brutality. The movie then follows the three as they move through their day and cope with the state of their friends in differing ways. Things get more tense as the three find themselves in the possession of a cop's discarded gun. To best understand the final scene, we must first understand the characters and how they act throughout the movie. First, we shall look at Vince, a Jewish man who is shown as the main character. Vince is heavily fueled by hate throughout the whole movie as he constantly debates enacting violence on the system that hospitalized his friend. Once he comes across the gun, he says over and over that he's going to kill a cop with it. Vince represents the hate that marginalized groups feel as they tend to fall victim to their environment. Secondly, we have Hubert, who spends the whole movie attempting to cool Vince down and encourage him to not become the product of his environment, despite the anger he feels. Hubert serves as a peaceful negotiator who believes that violence in any form is not the answer, and he argues that if Vince enacts revenge, then he is a part of the never-ending cycle of violence. Thirdly is Said, who is seen as a middleman of both of the others' opinions. While he resents the law enforcement and participates in many different riots, he takes a non-violent approach. While Said is an interesting character and middleman, we won't focus on his role as much for this analysis. Now with that background on the characters, we can finally talk about the final scene. The scene begins as we see Vince finally give the gun up to Hubert. This moment is effective in making the audience feel good because throughout the whole movie, the audience wants to see Vince take Hubert's advice to give up his violent ways. It serves as a cathartic moment for the character as we see Vince finally escape the system as he is fallen victim to throughout the whole movie. The movie ends as Hubert, Vince, and Said go their separate ways and they all live happily ever after. Just when you think things will go well for our characters, a car pulls up next to Said and Vince. As it is revealed, it was a guy who Vince had a confrontation with earlier. They begin to fight as Hubert rushes over to the scene. The man who pulled up on them is flashing a gun in Vince's face when all of a sudden, Vince has fallen victim to the same cycle of violence that he had just escaped. Hubert follows this up by holding the gun up to the man as they have a standoff as the movie promptly ends, and the same intro at the beginning of the movie plays out.
Chute se répète sans cesse pour se rassurer. Jusqu'ici, tout va bien. Jusqu'ici, tout va bien. Jusqu'ici, tout va bien. L'important, c'est pas la chute. C'est l'atterrissage.
This moment appeals to the emotions of the audience in such a powerful way. Throughout the whole movie, we want Vince to take Hubert's advice because we don't want Vince to become the product of his environment. And as soon as he's able to grow past it, we are shown that despite the efforts and attempts to escape one's environment, It can oftentimes be futile, and the effects of one's past choices can affect someone's life. It also serves to show how Hubert also falls victim to his environment as he succumbs to the one thing he preached against the whole movie. As an audience, we agree with Hubert throughout the whole movie, and when he becomes what he swore against, it hurts the audience. It is a painfully accurate representation of the world that we live in.